Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another high-level game of PvT action. Today in the top right, spawning as the blue Terran player playing for Team GP. It is Ryung. And in the bottom left, spawn in as the red Protoss player playing for Team Africa Freaks, or Africa StarCraft 2. Africa Kwadong, I think they're called, or something like that. Changed their name recently. It is Trap. The solid Protoss player. Alright, Mr. Trap. What do you have for us? Kwadong Freaks, I think they're called. Something like this. I don't think it's Africa anymore. I don't think they're sponsored by Africa anymore. I think that is what changed. Barracks here is being proxied for Ryung. And it's what we'd consider a fake proxy. So the goal of this proxy is very simple. Ideally, the Protoss has a slight overreaction in the form of a Zealot against this. And it also allows the Terran to still go for a very quick factory. So there is some type of scout denial with either a Reaper or a Marine. It has the potential upside of perhaps forcing an overreaction out of the Protoss player. We'll see if that's actually going to be the case here. It's going to be Cybercore Zealot, I think. Should be at least. Yeah, Cybercore into Zealot. And we immediately see Trap go for a scout around the base, looking for any close by locations for this barracks. Reaper first will still be the answer. If Trap spots this barracks before it is done, or before his Zealot finishes, I believe he should cancel the Zealot. Now that he scouts it, Zealot cancel. Perfect. Absolutely perfect response out of Trap here. This is actually picture perfect. There's still going to be some delay on the Nexus. 2 probes have been built extra. But this is actually what you dream of. This is the greatest start that you could wish for against a proxy barracks. It is just a really, really strong early game here for the Korean Protoss player. And that's a thing of beauty. That really is a thing of beauty. We have a factory being built immediately as one SCV is stuck trying to get back inside. CC will be constructed on the high ground as well, as we have a warp gate on the way, which means that a twilight is inevitable. And that's indeed what we're seeing here. Reaper will make its way across the map, will get spotted by this probe. Or perhaps this probe will get spotted by the Reaper. Depends whose perspective you're seeing it from. But the probe is dead and the Reaper is not, so I'd rather be the Reaper in this situation. Let me tell you that much. Adept's gonna make its way towards the right side of the map as we have a mine drop coming in. Now this could potentially still go into... Well, can it actually go into an armory mine drop? I don't think there's quite the gas for that. Gas mining must have been delayed and halted a bit. At times reactor being built as well. Yeah, I just don't think there is enough gas to get both that medevac and the armory. So instead we're just going to see a very quick mine drop and that should do the trick. Triple mines. And marine production will start immediately after. Third mine should be built soon. So this mine will burrow somewhere to potentially kill any oracles. I think is what it should do. I like that this mine is over here. In case a Stalk or an Adept tries to move up this ramp, there is the possibility that that unit gets taken out. And that is important. That is cool. That's nice. Yeah, no armory being thrown down. Instead it's just going to be a fast orbital... what's it called? Orbital command. There we go. Follow-up will be a tech lab. Might see a tech lab as well on this, on this starport. Tank, Raven, both fair possibilities. I think this Adept should not finish. Yeah, would be it would have been the correct call here, but as a general rule, it would have been the incorrect call. For a second, I thought we were going to see an SCV pool, but of course, nothing of the sort is quite happening here. One Adept is on the map. No Stalkers in position to deal with this drop, honestly, which could be considered a bit of an issue. Double Stalker warp in as well, as this was 4 units pre-warp gate. I like this build order a lot out of Trap. Third gate is on the way as well. No, second gate is on the way. No, third gate is on the way. This has been a good build order. It's been a good start for Trap, honestly. I like how we played this. Going to end up losing 4 workers. And keeps the medevac alive. I think he definitely can pick up this mine. If Ryung was paying attention here, he would have been able to pick up that mine. Sadly for him, was not the case. 37 works against 32. This is what we would consider an even game. Triple gas is not for any type of battlecruiser, but just to afford the constant tank and Raven production. And then second barracks, eBay to finish up the full wall. Trap feeling confident enough to move out with his Stalkers. I don't think I feel confident enough for Trap. for him to move out with the Stalkers. This is going to allow this medevac drop to come back with the mine. I understand why he's doing it, as he dealt a lot of damage to that medevac, and you have to be absolutely insane to keep the medevac around. But apparently Ryung doesn't give a crap. He says, yeah, it's cool that I can get like a 4-shot here by Stalkers, but what if there's no Stalkers? Then I definitely can do something. He's actually gonna start moving this medevac in position right now, as Observer, together with these Stalkers, are going to try to drop into the main base. Or trying to jump into the main base. One Stalker will get taken out by this tank. Next shot doesn't go down. Turret will be thrown down. And this should at least kill the Observer. Worst case scenario, yeah. This is a good trade, I think. You lose 4 workers. You kill 3-4 of them bad boys. It's important that this mine drop goes in. Well, probably should have gone in a bit earlier. 2 Stalkers at home will deal with it. Ryung doesn't dare losing that mine drop, I guess. 36 workers, 37 for Ryung against the 51 of Trap. But of course, the infrastructure for Trap is heavily delayed. There was a lot of Stalkers built. 9 Stalkers before the infrastructure increase of 1986. Famous year for gateways. Oh, 2 Stalkers gonna get taken out. Trap a little bit too slow there at the response. And Ryung still over here with that mine drop. Potentially could be doing something with it. Potentially just to force units back. It doesn't even necessarily need to kill workers. It could kill workers and force the units back. But just one of the two is good enough. And ooh, actually Ryung managing to sneak by here. I'm not quite sure how he did that. Perhaps his middle name is Houdini. These 2 medevacts also moving straight towards the middle. I think Trap might try to catch these. But while trying to catch these, he might get caught himself. Mine drop enters the main base. I don't think Trap is quite paying attention here, as this mine drop is going to kill 8 workers. Beautiful hit, and keeps the mine as well as the medevac completely alive. These forces join up, and honestly, there's not that much Trap here. Combat shield finished up as well. There is a single missile turret. No, there's 2 missile turrets, or perhaps an armor missile. Oh, hello. Can we get some control on the Raven? Yep. Raven is now being controlled. Raven will get killed before anything big happens. At the same time, this prism with 4 zealots in the main base is dealing a fair amount of damage. And yeah, 16 workers might be a bit too much to lose. Too late on the worker pool there. Ryung is in a bit of trouble. He seems to be in a fine position, but losing the Raven and not dealing with the prism with the 4 zealots whatsoever actually was a rather big issue here. Still has a decent amount of units, but I don't think it's quite enough to deal the fatal blow. That might just mean that he is actually dead. This single mine is going to get F2'd back home as well. It's not going to get another hit in. Oh, now he realizes that's okay. Let me try another time. We'll get the burrow, but I think Trap had so much time at this point. I'd be surprised if he gets hit. Yeah. Boosting medevac goes in. Do we have a blink here? We do have a blink. Does blink forward. Does not quite get the medevac, but it's a single hit away from dying at this point. 4 more zealots are going to make their way into the main base. Don't forget that Trap's already at +1 attack as well. It's not like he's playing this of 0-0 like we sometimes see people like Zest do. No, this is a well upgraded force. Armor on the way too. Yeah, it's just... It's looking dark here. Wouldn't surprise me if a couple of these SCVs get pulled soon. Observer gets sniped. So the Viking and the medevac go into the dead space. Not quite sure what they're doing over there, but they're having a blast. This eBay with the armor is obviously never going to finish up. Yep, here comes the SCV pool out of Ryung. 65 army supply against 58. 22 Marines, okay. 22 Marines, is that enough? Is that enough damage output here, actually? 17 Zealots. Zealots really do suck against SCVs, by the way, especially if you micro the SCVs correctly. Single tank will also help out. Production is quite large for Ryung. Sorry, for Trap. It was 8 gateways. Trap was considering getting a fort base. Warps in a bunch more Stalkers. Or a bunch more Zealots, excuse me. The SCVs are not in the fight. This army is obviously way too weak. Now the SCVs start moving forward. Super battery gets used. I think this is a moment to retreat here for Ryung. Does it a little bit late, perhaps. SCVs are falling, but so are a lot of the Zealots. I just don't think there's enough damage output here for the Korean Terran player, losing a lot of stuff at home as well. Depots, all the reinforcements are going to get taken out, and with the triple immortal defense, I do believe that Trap has plenty of units. Medevac stay alive. GG gets called. Trap wins game number 1. in this best of 3. Game number 2 in this best of 3 is going to be played on Berlingrad, which is a smaller map. Quite a bit smaller, and most likely would have been Ryung's second map pick. Veto's being Curious Mind. Curious what the second veto was out of Trap though. Can't really get to a second veto for Protoss that wouldn't just be Berlingrad. Hardwire is quite good for TOS. 2K, I don't mind. Pride is considered one of TOS's best maps. Perhaps we should approach it from the different side and see what Ryung has vetoed. So Ryung vetoes Pride and Hardwire. So then either 2K or... I feel like I'm missing a map. Well, I'll get to it later, I'm sure I will. Blackburn? Yeah, either 2K or Blackburn will need to be vetoed. Be surprised if Trap vetoed 2K, so most likely Blackburn. So Reaper first here. Once again, a double gas build, by the way. TVT-esque opener here for Ryung. It's going to open up with 2 Reapers, a Hellion. I've actually seen a build order which I am not hugely fond of, but has been making the rounds lately. It is the triple Reaper 2 Hellion opener, which is an insane TVT build, right? Like it's just a lot of pressure from the Terran onto the Protoss, or usually from the Terran onto another Terran. And we have seen some use for it, especially on maps where it's difficult to block off this ramp. That's of course not the case here. You see Trap opening up with a battery in the natural, an Adept, most likely going to be a secondary Adept as well. Yeah, straight up moving out with that first Adept, huh? Just wants to go to the other side of the map. It's just going to be 2 Reapers into a Hellion, and then most likely followed by a Tech Lab as well on this factory. Could still be mines, technically. Go for a double mine drop. Yeah, also don't mind it. Actually don't mind it one bit. And we'll see what the potential damage is over here that Ryung wants to go for. Ooh, I like this movement a lot out of Ryung. This is good movement. Yep, there we go. Gets in. And now we'll get the jump into the main base as well. So gets the first worker. And rather than going into the main base, says, hey, I actually want to keep these units alive. And now my Hellion goes into the main. You still have these 2 Reapers to potentially make some moves as well. Phoenix is the first unit that Trap is going for. Surround potential is here. Reapers now start moving into a different area. And we'll get into the natural once again. No worker production whatsoever for Trap either. Forgetting to build workers there for 6-7 seconds will cost him 1 worker in the long run, of course, with 12 workers per second being finished. So if 2 next I don't work for 6, that's exactly 1 worker, I believe. A Reaper will go down. This has been a good little ride for Ryung. Trap had the perfect setup. He really did have the greatest setup possible, and yet lost workers. And that was due to Ryung's brilliant movement with those Reapers, with that Hellion as well, sneaking into the natural. Absolutely love that little rotation of units. Now there's perhaps a bit of a problem here. Bit of trouble in the land of Ryung, as he's going to need to fight against these Phoenixes with only a single Cyclone and a Viking. Now these 2 Adepts will get taken out. I don't think this Cyclone actually will fall, and perhaps even worse, a Phoenix might have fallen. No, didn't quite. This is a powerful squad though. There's not that many units. There's actually no units whatsoever on the ground for Trap currently. Just purely relying on those Phoenixes. Now 2 extra gates are on the way, which means that ground units can be constructed. If 1 Phoenix goes down here, that could actually mean the end of the world, as this is a heavily invested push here for Ryung. I mean, this is just a lot of units. We see 2 factory units in the Cyclone and the tank. We see 3 Vikings, 8 Marines. I mean, this is a big deal. This is not a joke push. This is really not a joke push. It doesn't necessarily mean that Ryung is going to commit all the way with it. But if he does decide to commit, I mean, it's just going to be very, very rough to deal with. Is there a Viking at home? Yeah, I believe there is actually. don't understand the landing of the Viking. I mean, that has absolutely no use whatsoever. Good target fire on that one Phoenix. Will go down, and second Phoenix might fall as well. No, we'll barely manage to stay alive. Oh. Some good trades, though, for Trap, who... Actually, this might have been perfect for Ryung. So, Ryung, with moving out like that, he forced out a lot of gate units out of Trap. We see that here, right? He built a crap ton of gate units, and if we take a look at the tech, it's practically non-existent. No Forge, no Twilight Council. Worker count isn't that large either. A lot of the eco, a lot of the money was spent into defending a push that ends up actually not really being a push, because Stim is already researching, Combat is researching, +1 is on the way. There's going to be a timing here for Ryung that will be difficult to deal with for Trap, in which there won't be charge yet. Ooh, Trap is going to continue adept production, which means it's going to be glaives and +1, I guess. Stay on a very low gateway count, and then perhaps eventually a robotics facility being added. I think that is really the only solution here. High Phoenix count, relatively quick robo. I think that Scan just barely missed these adepts. Trap could make a massive mistake here by sending all of these adepts across the map right now. I don't think he will do that, however. He's getting more gateways. I think a faster robo would have been the correct call. Faster robo, a rush into that Colossi tech. As, well, to be quite honest, glaive adepts just fall off so fast. It's going for charge. He built 11 adepts. Okay. That these adepts are useless. And not in a small way either. Like, these are actually completely useless, wordless pieces of crap that no one wants to have around. The supply looks very good for Trap, but because there's freaking 22 supply in these bad boys, I actually don't mind the position for Ryung very much. The Adept is the most wordless unit in this entire matchup, even if it had glaives. But without glaives, I think I'd rather attack with 11 probes than with 11 adepts, honestly. At least probes confuse your opponents. With adepts, the opponent just goes, ah, thanks for the money. Templar Archives is being constructed. Robo facility after the Templar Archives. I don't think these timings quite work out, my friend. I think it's slightly too late. I really do believe it's slightly too late. The eco is very good for Trap, don't get me wrong. The eco is fantastic for Trap. These adepts all get spotted as well. So now even the surprise is gone. These adepts were already useless, and now they're utter crap. Watch these adepts kill like 35 workers, by the way. Just watch it happen. He's going to use them as kind of like a run-by, shade-by into the natural, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it happen. I really don't see it happen, as Ryung is attempting to go for a ghost push with 1-1. Most likely a couple of SCVs will go with it as well. SCVs are not being produced right now. 48 workers is that type of worker count that we usually look at. To go for this type of play. And this is why I wanted the fast robo bay as well. It's because this army just falls off heavily against any type of ghost. Against large bio forces as well. I mean, bio just doesn't scale very well against large charge slot counts. Or sorry, charge slots just don't scale very well against large bio counts. Because of the range advantage, of course. Now, with ghost there, it definitely is not going to be a party. Once these 3 ghosts arrive, I mean, this army will just melt. They absolutely melt. Army here on the left. I guess part of it needs to stay home to deal with this, or what? That was not a good finish. All of these adepts are, yeah, I mean, it actually, what I thought would happen actually happened. These mines, by the way, killed like 4 phoenixes or 3 phoenixes. Yeah. He shaded in with 11 adepts. The adepts did nothing. Now Trap wants to start moving in, realizing he needed the robotics bay a little bit earlier. Tries to get it out now. And this looks dumb, this movement, but this is actually brilliant. This is the only way that Trap can possibly win, is by holding this general area. By holding this area temporarily. He just needs to hold some type of area and then go in for a run by with these zealots, because the zealot count is useless to have in this fight. There's absolutely no point. Look at the mines over here. This run by, however, could, well, is also not going to provide any value whatsoever. Oh my god, there's like 7 mines here. 7 freaking mines. Disruptors? I would perhaps even get disruptors at this point. Some type of saving grace. Immortal Disruptor. +2 on the way as well here for Trap. 2 more gateways are coming out as well. I think this fort base probably should be given up now. This is an extremely all-in push here out of Ryung. And Trap is trying to defend his fort base while his opponent is barely mining off of 2.5 bases. Mines have now largely been depleted. Trap, I think, should start considering giving up this position, as it's not a holdable position. Disruptors are coming out right now. Can this disruptor help with the defense? At least it will help in taking... Well, actually killed almost nothing there. And now Ryung is moving forward. One more EMP is available. I think it is here. Yep, there we go. EMP is absolutely everything. GG gets called as Ryung wins game number 2 in this best of 3 after some sloppy plays out of Trap there with the adepts initially. The 12-11 adepts that made no sense. The delayed Robo Bay as well. So now the score is 1-1 and we'll be heading into the final game of this best of 3. And that third game is going to be played on Pride of Altaris. So now I am completely confused as to what Ryung has vetoed. I already was surprised Glittering Ashes was around. So then he must have vetoed 2K and Hardwire. And then Ryung vetoed Blackburn. Or sorry, Trap vetoed Blackburn and Curious. And Ryung vetoed 2K and Hardwire. Okay, well, he better have a freaking build on here, because Pride of Altaris is a very tricky map for Terran. It's just hugely difficult. It's a large map, it's a map that has a gold, it's a map that is good defensively for the first 4 bases, for the first 5 bases perhaps even. Stargate is insanely powerful. It's just insanely powerful on this map. Not even quite sure how to explain how powerful it is, but it's really, really powerful. I just don't quite see, okay, what Ryung wants to play here. And he won the last game against the Stargate opener. I guess that's what he's kind of banking on then. Once again, opens up with that double gas opener. Won't get spotted here by Trap, obviously. Because Trap can't get in. No way to enter. Reaper first. And Trap wants to get a couple of pieces of info here. So the first piece of info that Trap wants to get is whether the first unit will be in a Marine or a Reaper. And that means he needs to stay here till 1:46 is the timing of the first Marine. Usually you stay a little bit after as well, just to be sure. Okay, so 1:48, 1:51, 1:52, we need to go home. That's exactly what we're gonna do, and now we start hiding from the Reaper. Prob obviously doesn't want to die, so should go back home. Adept gets chronoed, and we see Warp Gate. Rather than opting for the Stargate, we now have a Warp Gate transition. Okay, single Reaper, so no double Reaper shenanigans here. Of course, not as great a map of it for it. There's not that many jump-in spots. I do believe this is a jump-in spot as well that could be abused, but it's not as great as Berlingrad was, of course. Command center being thrown down just now as we have a fast mine drop. So similar opener to that Glittering Ashes game. Although the mine gets built before the starport, which once again is just kind of confusing. I'm just not entirely sure what the point is of rushing out a single mine. Starport is insanely delayed, by the way, and for no reason either. Did the Reaper die? Yeah, Reaper died. Funky little opener here. Triple Adept. Moving across the map. Now the Stalker is on the way as well. Blink starts. A lot of gateway units once again coming out for Trap. Should be considering throwing down something of a robotics facility as well soon, I believe. Cyclone? Yeah, Ryung is I think in the belief right now that there's a Stargate. I mean, he's seen 2 adepts. He's gonna see 3 adepts. That's just... Or is it just 2 adepts? No, 3 adepts is here. Yeah. If he sees 3 adepts, you'd have to be crazy to not believe it's going to be Stargate. And Ryung is just preparing for some type of anti-Stargate build. I believe, at least. And one of these adepts might just fall. Yep, definitely will. Second adept will stay alive, though. Might take a little bit of hull damage. Half of its life is gone. Robo facility is also on the way right now, and a third base should start soon too. CC makes its way onto the low ground. 37 workers to 27. Usually when you play 2 gas opener, you need to kill 3 to 5 workers. Somewhere around that, depending a bit on the CC timing, whether it's high ground or low ground. So in this case, with this build order, as you're not really looking for worker kills, instead what Ryung needs to do is most likely just cancel a third or straight up kill his opponent. As there's a huge investment in this entire build. Vikings are coming out as well right now, which is some added DPS. I'll give that at least to Ryung here. It's going to be fighting against Blink Stalkers in a couple of seconds though. Doesn't really have anything ready. Stalkers are moving on the map. I don't know where they're going to, but it's the incorrect move. This Stalker will fall before the fight starts. This tank gets the siege, and Ryung actually in a bit of a position here where a cancel on the third base is not only realistic, but also quite probable. This tank is going to get targeted down. No repair yet. Ryung slightly too slow with the repair on that tank. What were these SCVs doing? Still, a lot of Stalkers have gone down so far already. Well, 2 Stalkers, 3 Adepts. It's a good start. Next tank needs to arrive soon, and this is the case as well. This tank is on the way. Cancel on the third base. Is there a third on the way yet for Ryung? The answer is no. Is there barracks on the way? No. There is a continued commitment here to this push. And that is both scary and exciting if you're a Ryung fan. Scary as in he might just give up his lead eventually. And exciting as in he might just straight up win the game in the next few seconds if this Immortal dies. Hello? Mr. Immortal? Oh, doesn't lose vision of the high ground. This could be game. I think Ryung made a small mistake here moving out with that tank. But everything else is going brilliant so far. And I think he should be looking at... Oh, he's F2ing back in a big way here. Hello? No, Ryung, that's not the way. Worker pool and the tank is good enough, I think. We need to move slightly faster in towards the opponent's high ground. There should be no units there whatsoever. Ryung is taking his sweet, sweet time, though, to do anything. And he's letting his opponent get more batteries. Kill a lot of workers on the other side of the map. Yeah, Ryung is a little bit too indecisive, I think. There is a super battery here on the high ground, which obviously is going to be super useful. High ground super batteries, one of the most powerful things in the world. Tank hasn't quite sieged yet either. Super battery now gets activated. Will the Immortal die? No, it won't. Tank isn't sieged either. Ryung extremely indecisive here. Not quite sure what to do. 33 workers against 38 though. Not even quite sure if this is bad yet for Ryung. Oh my god, takes out the Immortal. He's up 10. There was no sending out all these units across the map. Well, I guess takes out 1 Stalker, but loses a tank for that. It's going to lose a Viking here as well. 2 Stalkers for a tank and a Viking. It's obviously a good trade here for the Protoss player. Charge about to finish up as well. And I think this is the scariest point right now for Ryung. In that there is some potential pressure coming out of Trap. 6 gateways. Charge will be finished as well. He's kind of just running around. The moment Charge finishes, I think this army is toast. Everything in the main might be toast. There's a lot of damage output, but if it's not in position, that's just a huge issue. Prism on the way as well. Dark Templars potentially coming out. I think Ryung waited a bit too long marching up that ramp. When he eventually did do it, I don't think the control was perfect. That tank not being sieged was of course pain. Is there any tanks at home? There will be a tank at home soon. Once again, this army could perhaps do something here. I don't think going for a cancel on the third base is that important if your natural is falling. I think you need to run up the ramp. Once again, Ryung a bit too slow. Blink on top of this ramp. Tank still fighting. Charge will should start moving onto that tank. Yeah, super battery is just a little bit too powerful here. 3 tanks though might help out. Lots of Marines as well. There's some potential here still for Ryung. He's losing a lot of workers at home. 42 against 24. CC is still alive. 2 base versus 2 base. Recall gets used now though. There's still 2 tanks here. Now we need to see a massive F2 move. I think that's the most important thing that can happen. There's no income whatsoever though for Ryung. There's no more batteries either. There's no energy. There's nothing. This is it. Alright, here come the Immortal. Drops will be able to snipe the tanks, and now the charge will just be a bit too much. No combat shield, but Stim will finish. I don't think Stim will matter whatsoever. Trap gets the cleanup, and with that cleanup should get the win as well. 17 workers against 41. No combat shield, no extra upgrade. So basically 2 slightly unupgraded armies. But I guess slightly worse upgrade still for Ryung, as I mean, no combat shield on Marines makes him extremely vulnerable to absolutely everything. I don't even think he can defend against this push. I'm surprised we're not seeing a gold base out of Trap, but I don't think it's ever going to come into play. 2 DTs march into the natural. There is not a single scan available. Oh, sorry. 2 DTs get dropped into the main and then 2 march into the natural as well. So, yeah. Observers. Yeah. This is it. Scan will kill one of the DTs. Second DT will also fall. That was kind of useful, actually. There's one more scan in the main base as well. There's just no tech labs. There's nothing here. Turrets are being constructed. It's not going to be enough. Combat shield still hasn't started quite yet. And I think that that Ryung is just extremely dead right now. I do believe that he's very dead. He's going to scan for this DT. We'll get the DT. So then the second DT should be capable of moving in again. That's where the real trouble starts. Whoosh. Yeah. Turret is not even gonna get up, I think. If Trap decides to do anything about it. I think he does decide to do something about it. Gets the final one as well. Yeah, I think Ryung should almost just GG here at this point. There's really no point, right? 88 supply against 53. Worker count, income, DTs. DTs just make it impossible for Ryung to ever truly move out. Robotics facility is going to make it very, very hard as well for Ryung to ever really get a huge advantage in like a unit composition or something like that. It's not like it's just pure charge loss. There's a robo already. There's Archons. And this game is just relatively over, honestly. Combat shield is not even going to finish up, I think, before the big fight. If Trap decides to fight slightly earlier, I wouldn't really mind it. He has a huge army. He doesn't need to, but he can. And often those are the best type of scenarios for the Protoss. When you can really take your time for a fight. You can run by, you can decide to give up this third base if you want to. I mean, there's just no workers. There's no pressure whatsoever on Trap to perform in any type of way here. He just, the only thing he can do is lose all of his production. So that really is it. A little bit of a run by, but it's just not it, right? It's just not it. We have a weirdly set up flank here coming out of Trap. I think perhaps even a bit ill-advised. Going to hit just slightly too slow. These Marines are going to get taken out. At the same time, the army here is so huge. Holy crap. And here we go. No Guardian Shield being used. Now we go with the Guardian Shield. No attack upgrades whatsoever for these Marines. No armor upgrades either, though. But the +2 of the Guardian Shield is going to help so much against this pure Marine army. Archons dealing a lot of damage. Zealots absolutely smashing these Marines. GG gets called as Trap wins this series 2-1. Ryung bites the dust. All right. Going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you all did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you, and bye-bye.